All right, today we're going to break down the fantastic opening of a modern supernatural story. We're going to look at how it builds character, dread, and a whole lot of mystery, all in just the first few scenes. It's a masterclass, really. So the story just throws us right into the deep end. There's no slow build-up, no setup. We just open on pure, immediate terror. Our first character, Jariel, is waking up from a nightmare, and right away you get this creepy, unsettling vibe. And it doesn't take long to figure out this isn't just some random bad dream. Nope, this is the third one this month, and it's seriously getting to her. It feels like something is happening to her. But just as that supernatural fear starts to creep in, the phone rings and bam, reality comes crashing in hard. That quiet horror is just completely shattered by this loud, chaotic, and very real 3 a.m. phone call from her sister Sheena. And that switch up from spooky nightmare to messy family drama, it's just genius. But this phone call is about so much more than just moving the plot forward. It is our perfect introduction to the two main characters, Joriel and Sheena, who we're going to call the Squids for this explainer. And we get to see their raw, hilarious, and super complicated relationship up close. And boom, just like that, we get who these two are. It's so efficient. Jariel, she's the sarcastic but responsible older sister, she's the protector. And Sheena, she's the wild child, the one who stirs up trouble and then calls her big sister to come fix it. You understand their whole dynamic in a single conversation. Okay, so after all the yelling and the jokes, here's where we get the first hint that something's really off. Sheena asks to crash at Jariel's because she doesn't want to be alone. Now, for a character who seems so independent and kind of thrives on chaos, that vulnerability, it just doesn't fit, right? It tells you there's a real fear hiding under all that noise. All right, so now we're back at Joriel's apartment, and this is where those two different vibes, the bickering sisters and that creepy supernatural stuff, are about to smash right into each other in a huge way. And this is where Sheena finally drops the act. The real reason for the 3 a.m. call comes out. She's not just running from some guy. She is genuinely terrified. She's been having these awful dreams, and that whole tough girl persona, it just melts away. And then she describes this really weird, very specific physical thing that happens with the nightmares. It's not just fear. Her body is physically shaking, like she's being, in her words, electrocuted. Now, you gotta pay attention to this detail, because it takes this whole thing from just a bad dream to something physical, something real. You can just imagine what's going through Jariel's head as she's hearing this. The story is basically asking us, right? We think of nightmares as being super personal, locked inside our own heads. But what if they're not? What if you could share one? And there it is, the bombshell. The impossible is confirmed. Jariel has been having the same kind of dreams with that exact same physical feeling. This isn't just one person's problem anymore. This is a shared, paranormal event that's somehow tying these two sisters together. So then Jariel lays out her own nightmare, and it is just a trip. It starts all fairy tale-like with a beautiful house, but then it gets dark fast. There are these creepy shadow people in suits, and then their bodyguard attacks some guy with octopus tentacles for arms. The whole thing ends with his gruesome transformation scene. It's surreal, it's weird, and it's terrifying. But just when you think it can't get any weirder, as Jariel is finishing her story, Sheena drops the final bomb. It's not just a similar dream, it's the exact same dream, down to every last bizarre detail. There's no explaining it, but you can't deny it. They are linked to this thing, whatever it is. Okay, so now we know what the central mystery is. We have two sisters trapped in the same recurring supernatural nightmare. And this is where the story pivots. They're not just victims anymore. They're actively starting to look for answers. And of course, true to form, they have completely different ideas about how to solve this. Jariel, ever the cautious one, wants to go to their pastor, someone they know and trust, the traditional route. But Sheena, she's already booked them an appointment with someone named Madame Ozoria, a spiritual counselor. She's ready to dive headfirst into the mystical. So, right in the middle of all this, the phone rings again. And it's this weird, totally random call from Kendrick, the guy Sheena ditched earlier. And in his cringy attempt to get her to come back, he says this. That phrase, shock waves of electricity, that is not a coincidence. That is a massive clue. So what this tells us is that Kendrick is not just some annoying guy on the side. His obsession with Sheena is almost supernatural. He has this crazy craving for her. He calls her an alien, and he has a physical reaction to her that sounds exactly like the nightmare feeling. Yeah, he's definitely another piece of this puzzle. Okay, so let's pull back for a second and talk about why this opening works so well. It all comes down to how the story manages to balance two completely different worlds. The real magic of the story is how it's constantly mixing these two things together. You've got these terrifying, out there events, shadow people, guys turning into babies, but it's all grounded in this super relatable, gritty, everyday life. They're trying to figure out a shared nightmare while eating leftover pizza. It makes the supernatural feel so much more real and so much more scary. And what you really take away from all this is that, yeah, they fight, they're total opposites, but that bond they have, that's going to be their anchor. It's the one solid thing they have as they start to face this bizarre, unknown darkness together. So that's where we're left, right? On the verge of getting some answers, standing at the door of this spiritual advisor. And it leaves us with this big question just hanging in the air. What exactly are these dreams? Are they a warning about something to come, a curse that's been put on them? Or is it some kind of weird, dangerous calling? It's the perfect hook, and it makes you desperate to find out what happens next.